before we dive too much into Volume Dealer, which is one of the bigger projects you're working on now, do you mind giving Sense listeners who might not be so familiar with you a bit of a rundown, a biography, if you will, of what you've accomplished up to this point in your own career?
Yeah, a bit of this, bit of that. Was a vocalist in a band called Frankenbach for many years, which I ended my tenure as a vocalist a couple of months ago to concentrate more on this new project. Prior to that, I was been in a bunch of other bands before that. I had a merch company 10 years ago that I had for about 10 years, from about 2004 to 2014. And yeah, done all kinds of stuff. Done a lot of back end stuff. I was always sort of in charge of um, doing the behind the scenes stuff with the bands as well. So I had Fair Income Records, which was a sort of Frankenbox record label. It was basically just me doing all the behind the scenes work and putting out the music and stuff. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing. But working on this new project with my brother for the last couple of months and loving every minute of it, actually.
So it's like, yeah, well, the culmination of all of these things that you've been doing in the past are all
Yeah,
coming together somewhat in what Volume Dealer is. So yeah,
that is correct.
what is Volume Dealer?
Okay, so Volume Dealer is it's part TV show, part merch company, yeah, part sort of. So basically, what I've done is put together the three things that I love doing most, which is recording bands, filming bands, and printing merch. And I've sort of put all of those things into the one idea and concept. And so we are a merch company, but we also have a TV show that goes along with it as well. And we showcase some of the best up and coming and established bands from Melbourne. And we get them in the studio. We film 5 songs live. And then I do an interview with the guys as well. Put that together as a little episode. And to coincide with each episode, we have a run of limited edition merch, which we run a limited edition sort of promotional campaign for about 3 weeks once the episode airs, and see if we can sell a bit of merch while we promote the band at the same time.
All right, so if I'm interested in those chuff trackies, I better not fuck around, hey?
That's correct. Well, look, some of the items may not be limited edition. We sort of worked it out. So basically, what we're trying to do with the merch is make a little bit of money for us and for the band as well. And we're also sort of geared it so if the band sells, say, 20 or 30 pre-orders through the limited edition campaign and they want to do another print run, a bigger one for stuff to sell at shows, then they can put whatever profits they're going to make from those limited edition ones into doing the actual paying off some of their print run for their bigger order of merch. Which just means we're helping out the band save a bit of money having to pay up front for their merch as well. So trying to create something here that's sort of beneficial to the people that we work for and beneficial to us as well, and trying to promote the scene as much as we can as well.
An amazing endeavor, and I'm sure all the bands that have been invited onto your show to do this have been probably really grateful for the opportunity you're presented. Now, I guess I just took a bit of an assumption there that they're invited. What is the process of a band getting onto Volume Dealer? Is it an invitation?
Yeah,
Are you sort of accepting?
yeah. At this stage, it is, man. We've got a list a mile long of bands that we want to get on the show. Like me, I do this with my brother, and yeah, we've just got a huge list, and so we're sort of working through that at this point in time. A couple of the bands to get things sort of up and running. A couple of the bands approached us and we agreed to it, but now that we've sort of established things, we're now just kind of working through the bands that we want to work with. I got just a bunch of bucket list bands that I want to work with, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And we want to try and get it. At the moment, we're doing an episode sort of every 3 weeks, but as time goes by, we're going to try and get more and more out. We can get it down to even once a week. I'd love to be able to do that as well as time goes on and things get more streamlined and all the rest of it. But yeah, there's just so many good bands. It's ridiculous. Like that's said, we've just written this list, and we're like, man, there's like 3 years worth there already. Like, so yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But and so far the bands we've got coming up, we got yeah, I'm pretty happy with how we're going to start 2025 and some of the bands we've got lined up already. Just
Yeah.
some, there's so many kick-ass rock and roll bands too in Melbourne at the moment. There's a real big sort of resurgence of rock and roll. A lot of three pieces getting around, which is my kind of gear. It's what I dig. Sort of. So yeah, it's a really good time for music in Melbourne at the moment, actually. So
Easier to cram a three-piece into your studio space.
they are the easiest one sort of to set up in a room. You've sort of the way we've got it set up. If you've got your one there, and the drummer right in the middle, it's just a perfect. It is the most fun and easiest one to shoot. That's for sure. We've had one 5 piece in here that had like a keyboard and everything else. It gets a little bit cluttered. It's not a huge space. It's sort of the looks are deceiving on the actual show. It looks bigger on camera than it actually is. But yeah, not look at like all the bands that have come in so far. I've really enjoyed the experience. Really love the room. Love the sound of it. I mean, I've been in this room for years. This was Box rehearsal space before this, so I've been in here that many times. And to be honest, like filmed Frankenbach that many times in here and done pretty much exactly what we're doing now, but just for my own band. And always wanted to it was something I wanted to bands in here on a Friday night and just film them for a bit of fun and do something. And start of the year, I decided, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to bite the bullet and ask my brother if he'd be interested and help me out with it. And yeah, rest is history.
Yeah, and I guess it saves you having to go out and find a gig if you can just invite the gig to your place.
Well, that's exactly right.
I don't go
The
out and
funny
see bands,
thing,
bands go out and see me.
yeah, I bring them to my lounge room, literally. Um, yeah, look, it's an interesting one. Like the start of the year, I quit drinking and well, I'm this long soberest I've been since I was like 17 years old, and so it's funny. It's sort of that's kind of part of the reason why I stopped playing in the band as well. It's just changed a lot of things for me, and one of the things is sort of being around that kind of environment. It's not really my bag these days.
Hmm.
So, but the irony being is that now that we've sort of done this, I've actually gone and watched more bands like since we started doing this because I'm out there sort of just scouting and having a look and checking out bands that we've heard about that, we've been told are doing really good things, but I want to go see what they can actually do live to
Hmm.
see whether or not we want to get them in the room. So, yeah, it's a little bit of an ironic twist in the whole thing, but yeah, yeah. So
Well, I
I get
guess,
them to come to me now, which is good.
yeah, and when you're going out to seeing these shows, you've got this, ulterior motive of being there, which hopefully,
It's
keeps
more
your
work now.
mind. Yeah, yeah, it's
Totally,
business.
totally. Like I don't really have it's not so much the temptation of being out and wanting to party. That's not necessarily it. It's probably just being in that environment around people that are doing it. Just not my bag these days. But definitely, if you've got a job to do while you're there, it certainly makes it easier. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, Due to the, photographing and reviewing shows, playing shows, like it's kind of really where, for myself to actually just, go out to a show for the sake of going out to a show. And the times that I find myself doing that, I'm always all like, what am I supposed to be doing?
yeah, yeah. That's good, man.
I'm watching other people take the photos. I'm watching someone else in the
Uh,
corner taking notes. It does
Unreal.
put you in this, yeah, this completely different mindset. But
Yeah.
then you're still always benefiting from that environment of the live music and, soaking up the bands and watching the people's performances and seeing people express themselves and do what they love on stage. So like that part of it never goes away.
Definitely not. Well, I guess the other thing being is that I wasn't sort of going to shows unless I was playing at them prior to this. Like, because well, for a start, yeah, I just didn't have the time to be able to do it. And sort of any time that I would have sort of been out watching bands, I was playing in my own band. So it's kind of good to get out and experience different styles of music more. more than anything. Like it's a little bit sort of, I get a little, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I haven't listened to metal music in a long time. Like it's not really what I listen to. And so it's not really what I'm interested in going to watch either. So yeah, being able to go and check out some kick-ass rock and roll bands, of which I said as there's many of them in Melbourne at the moment, has been heaps of fun. I've been really enjoying it.
It sounds like, yeah, that rock side of things is definitely what you're going to be focused on, and you've already said that you've got that, bucket list of a band of bands that you're probably not going to get to in this and another lifetime. But would you be, interested someone in going with other genres?
Anything, man. Like in like I'm really interested in doing all kinds of stuff. I don't want to get it pigeonholed into one sort of specific sort of style of music at all. Um, for my own personal just challenge of actually recording different bands, like I've already noticed in the last since doing this, and instead of just recording my own band over and over and over again like I did for years, I've now been able to record all these different bands, and even within the rock scene, they're all different to a degree. And so I noticed with every recording I'm getting better and better at actually the recording process and learning heaps with each one. So any different style is going to throw different challenges at me. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying the fact that I get to listen to these kick-ass bands and record them and sort of do it the way that I like to record, which is live. Like I really dig I'm a huge fan of 70s rock and 70s bands, and because they were the real deal, especially when it came to recording, they went into the studio, and most of the time it was pretty much live, apart from maybe some vocals might have been done separately or a few overdubs here and there. But the general rule was they went in and recorded stuff live. So that's what I like to do because you really get the measure of a band when you see them playing together and playing off each other. And there's also the energy that comes from a band playing as it should and playing together on a recording. I find that a live recording will always have that extra level of just that extra sort of intensity and pace about it and energy that you just don't get from sort of live recordings when it's just a little bit of live recording. When you listen to a live recording versus the studio recording, it's just the studio recording is always a bit slower, bit more kind of just laid back. So yeah, I kind of love getting bands in, getting them on the spot, and seeing what they can do. And you really get the measure of how good a band actually is when you do that. And so far, everyone we've had in here has really stepped up to the challenge and nailed it basically. Which is also you've got to put cameras in front of their face. That's another thing that will if they can handle that and have that sort of on top of everything and still nail their performance, you're dealing with some kick-ass musos. So
Yeah,
yeah,
probably helps crank up the adrenaline as well, and that maybe gives you a bit more of that, speed and energy in your performance as well.
yeah, man, it does. It's kind of like it's when it's getting put down for prosperity. That's I think and I think every band's done their homework before they come in as well. I think they understand what's going on here, and so that this is going to be out there in perpetuity, hopefully. So we'd best be on our A game, and yeah,
It
good
makes
shit.
me think as well, like with yeah, when you're filming and producing the show, uh, do you have a bit of lenience with the bands, or are you a bit brutal and like, no, what happened happened? Like if something goes,
No,
awry, or
no, we're pretty cash with it. We want it to be as fun as possible. We if the band if they get through a take and they're not happy with it, or they'll just run it again. And sometimes most of the bands will get it on a first take, and it's good if they do because it's just there's a certain, like I said, there's an intensity to that when you have to do it again. Mind you, some of them have just run through it again and just smashed it like it ain't no thing. So yeah, it's like that's just it, man. We want to be able to yeah, be nice and comfortable with them, and yeah, pretty
I
much
guess as the saying goes, shit happens when you do it live.
that's it. Like if there's it's interesting what a band will think is a mistake or a fuck up or something compared to what you're listening to. Like I've heard him get through a run through and someone go, ah, that up there, I did this. I'm like, I didn't hear anything, man. Like, and I'll listen back to it and probably won't hear anything. Like, and if you're looking at it at a take that's just 99.9% there, and there's a couple of minor flubs, I'm you know, gonna tweak it slightly if I can, but I generally don't like to do that unless it's salvaging a good take. But yeah, haven't had to do that very much at all.
And going back to what you were saying about those 70s albums and the, going in there and doing it live and how you're essentially emulating that process now. Have any of the bands or yourself thought or considered of just releasing the live recordings as albums in their own right? Because I know there's been a few times where I've been watching episodes while taking care and doing other things, and just tuning out and forgetting that I'm watching a live show and could very well just be listening to an album from that band.
Yep. Well, you can, my friend. They're up on Bandcamp as well. So our website where everything happens is volumedealer.net, and from there you can watch the episodes, you can buy the merch, and you can download the albums or the songs as an EP from our Bandcamp page as well. And so with the merch, limited edition merch items, we also have a CD, free CD that comes with it as well, which I make here. Got a shitload of CDs here, so I just burn off a bunch of copies of those to make up little ones, and so we give out bonus CDs of the live set as well.
Oh, that's absolutely
we initially
awesome.
wanted to do it as like 7 inches. Like that was the original idea, like just a couple of tracks from the actual live recording and do a 7-inch to go with it. But just logistically, that's not, it just ended up not being something that we could do, unfortunately. Like the lead time was just too long. It was too much of a dick around to sort of do that. So the next best thing is just, doing a bonus CD as well. And if you don't have a CD player, you can just download it from our Bandcamp for $5.
Surely you can just push a couple of your screen printing stations aside and put a vinyl press in the middle.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that. I actually, when I had my merch business back in the day, one of the locations that I had it at was actually at where Zenith Records, which is like at the time was like one of the only vinyl manufacturing plants in Australia. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a couple. I'm pretty sure there's a couple more now. But so I've already done that. But yeah.
I guess it's just one more thing that you don't really need to add to take up your time to be starting to press turn finals.
If we get a chance to do the 7-inch thing, if it becomes more feasible as time goes on, it's also just a cost thing at this point. Like, if our intention and goal is to obviously try the bigger the sort of the bands we can get in here, obviously the bigger the profile of the show will be, and the bigger we can kind of make this as well. So we've got ambitions, that's for sure. So we'll see where this goes. But so far the reception's been really good. Everyone's sort of really backing it and really keen on the idea, which is really good.
And as you said, you've got some big plans for 2025, so I'm very keen to see who does grace the studio and ends up on an episode of Volume Dealer.
Cheers, man. Yeah, like I said, the one I'm just working on now, we just filmed on Sunday. It'll be, we've got this sinking ship coming up, so that's the episode that I sent through. That's the next one coming out. But after that, there's these guys that we had in on the weekend called Willie J and the 6B6s. They're a pretty new band. They've only been around since I think 2023. So and they were just fucking mind-blowingly good, man. I loved every minute of it. It's my kind of music, and they were exceptional. Just exceptional performance, unreal songs. I really think these guys are going to blow up big. Like, it's just too good, man, too good. So the last couple of nights I've been mixing it and just can't get the smile off my face, man. Been absolute pleasure. So yeah, that one will come out in February. And yeah, so we've got a stack of bands already lined up for the rest of the year. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, well, you keep putting them out. We'll keep watching them. We'll try and make sure we keep the Sense audience abreast of all happenings, volume dealer as well, because I don't want to
Mhm.
miss out, and I don't want them to miss out either.
Awesome, man. I appreciate the support. Much appreciated, man.